I can't tell you how many times where we've done this where my phone will start ringing, like an embarrassingly amount of times.
Do not disturb
Mr. Popular.
mine. Nick is a big deal.
Right.
We're really both a big
it's
deal.
usually, it's really my mom. She just calls me like every day. So.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast, episode number 29. Today is an awesome day. We were joined by Jay and Mack Films, but before that, I'm joined today, as always, as mostly with Nick Miller. Nick, say hi.
Hi.
All right. How you doing? How's it going?
Dude, really, really good. We are recording this 2 days after my workshop that I had in Wichita, Kansas. It went really, really well. Super excited about that. So feeling good about life and everything.
Kind of on cloud nine. That workshop was awesome. I think we should do some in the future if anybody wants to do, be a part of those.
I mean, maybe one where you and I do one together.
That could be nice. I like that.
That could be cool. That could be neat. That'd be sweet.
Well, so you did a workshop. It was awesome. Today we just got through interviewing. I didn't fangirl, but I'm big fans of these people. They're really awesome. Jay and Mack Films. They're out of San Diego. We talked to them about a bunch of stuff, just how they've gone from nothing to an incredible company in the last 3 years.
Okay, we talk about how they went from basically shooting their first wedding in 2017 to recently booking a $9,000 package.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And it's because their work is so amazing, and we really just kind of dive into who does what on the wedding day, how they're color grading. Jay is actually a nurse and does that as well as working. So we talk about juggling a job and doing this. So I think that'll be really helpful to the listeners as well. And so just all of that wrapped into one big, nice weddings or how to film weddings package. And I'm excited. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just jump in.
Let's do it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jay and Mack, for being on the show. Why don't you do us a quick favor? Tell us a little bit about the two of you, kind of how you got the Jay and Mack Films going. Just tell the listeners who you guys are, where you're located, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Jay and
I'm Mack.
Some people really don't know. Some people think that I could be Mack and she could be Jay, so it's kind of ambiguous. But so I'm actually a nurse. I'm part-time now. And when I first started as a new grad, we have cohorts of new grads. And one of the girls in my cohort, she had just gotten married, and I saw her wedding video on Facebook, and I was just blown away.
Yeah.
How do you make something look like a movie? So at the time I had a Canon T3i, and I was like, shoot, I'm just gonna go shoot stuff. I figured out how to do slow-mo. So first thing I shot was my grandpa's birthday.
Uh-huh.
And just looking back at it, it was terrible. Canon T3i, got a nifty 50 on there, handheld, warp stabilizer, everything. The colors from shot to shot did not match at all. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, this video is sick. I'm gonna keep shooting more stuff. So she was graduating college at the time, and went to her graduation, filmed that. And I bought a monopod after shooting my grandpa's thing, because I was like, oh yeah, I deserve to get more gear because I'm good.
Yeah.
So shot her graduation ceremony, and I thought that was amazing. It's not terrible, but just after that, just kept any opportunity to shoot, I would. And that summer we ended up going to Maui for her graduation, and at that time, that was 2016, so Sam Colder, Jay Alvarez, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them, but they're these big influencers, started that whole adventure style of video. Mm-hmm. And I was really big into their work. So I was like, I'm going to make a Hawaii video like them. So shot a video in Hawaii, edited it, loved it, super proud of it. And one of her sister's friend reached out to us and was like, hey, I'm getting married this October in Paso Robles. We'd love to have you shoot out there. So we did that, charged only $500, and at that time I finally picked up, I think, a Sony a6300. Mm-hmm. and I was using, I think, the kit lens or something, and I gave her the Canon T3i, and she had no idea how to use it, but for some reason I was just like, oh, she'll figure it out.
I did.
Yeah. So she shot with me like our very first wedding, and it actually went really well, but I feel bad because like I sent her to the grooms because I was like, I need to control like the bride situation, like you go shoot the grooms. So
Yeah, what time did you get there?
Oh yeah, so I got there at 6 a.m. to get like a sunrise drone shot because it's up in the hills of like near San Luis Obispo. So I was like, it's gonna be amazing sunrise. So
Yeah.
and I started shooting like everybody's makeup. I had no idea what I was doing, but just shooting like everybody and everything. And yeah, that was our first wedding, October 2016.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
that
she
wasn't
was
long ago.
she started working for AmeriCorps. You guys familiar with that?
It's like
Nope.
It's like the Peace Corps.
But within the United States. So it was like basically volunteer work, but she still
Yeah.
like was working 9 to 5, commuting like 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And you know, we started doing more weddings. We didn't do another wedding, I think, until July of that next year. And she like started doing it with me, and at first she didn't love it. Like, but then the more she started doing like the 9 to 5 stuff, she didn't love
Is it because
that.
you handed her a camera and didn't tell her how to use it, maybe, and sent her to the
Exactly.
groom's room?
That's exactly
Yeah.
how
What's not to love?
For a while I was doing that too, like, oh, go shoot the groom. But yeah, just like over time, she started to love not having a 9 to 5. So she's like, oh, I, you know, and she loves working with me. So, I mean, we've shot every wedding together, and yeah,
So
like how we got into it.
To rewind back just a little bit, husband-wife team, how long have you guys been together? I mean, been married, all that kind of stuff. What's the story, kind of how you guys?
For
not
sure.
your whole love story, anything like that. We're not interviewing for a wedding couple, but just where are you? Like, where are
Yeah.
you shooting most of your weddings? How that kind of just like tell us more
sure.
about the two of you.
Okay, so long story short, we were neighbors ever since like I was 4. Didn't talk till college. I added her on Facebook. She sent me a message like saying, hey neighbor. So like after that, after like a month or so, like finally was able to take her out on a date. Been together ever since, and we like hung out every day. So a relationship developed really fast. And we've been together for 6 years now. We just got married last February.
Okay, so you started doing weddings together before
we got married. Yeah,
That's cool.
before we got married.
Were you engaged at that time?
No. So
No, you're just dating. Yeah.
Exactly. So that made getting our engagement on video a lot easier too, because I think we were just shooting an adventure video like here in San Diego. And my brother-in-law, actually, he was into it. I got him into it. So we were like jumping off this local bridge, like 25, 30 feet. And she thought we were just shooting for the video, but then I got down on one knee and I said something really cheesy, like, will you jump into this next stage of life with me? But then she,
I'm just kidding.
And then,
so
I mean,
good.
she had to jump though.
I
So,
know.
and then of course we jumped like 2 or 3 more times for the angles, right? So,
Of course, you have to.
yeah.
So you said San Diego, you have to deal with being in that climate, I guess so, and those
I bet it's
uglier
awful
landscapes.
living
Awful.
there. I bet it's horrible.
How do
awful,
you
know, we're stuck
deal?
with one temperature, like mid 70s. So
Ugh,
it's terrible.
gross. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I have some photo friends that live in the San Diego area, and he is on the record as saying that 65 or below is too cold.
70 or below is too
72 and 72 and above is too warm.
Yes.
And I'm like, man,
Yep.
you live
It's
a
true.
rough
Obviously,
life.
I've been to San Diego probably 10 times, and I've never seen any other temperature between 68 and 70 degrees. It's perfect. I love it out there. So
Yeah.
you guys are based in like the business today. I mean, you're based in like let's talk
So-
about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like where you're based. What's the business
sure.
look like for you in 2019?
Yeah, so we're based in San Diego, North County of San Diego, but we really don't shoot here too often. Like the closest we shoot, I mean, sometimes we actually shoot in our town, which is called San Marcos, but usually we shoot a little bit more north in, it's kind of like this new wine country. It's called Temecula. It's blowing up.
I've shot there.
I've shot
No
there.
way.
I've shot there.
That's awesome.
I have.
Both you guys?
I've done 3 weddings in Temecula. Yeah.
That's super cool, yeah. Yeah, so for a while we were getting a lot of our local work over there. LaCroix, amazing. Yeah, so we were shooting a lot of stuff over there for a little bit. Still getting some inquiries here and there for there. But it's kind of just like all over, whether it's like just kind of in the SoCal region or so like last year we went to Ireland, Oregon, Washington, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Cabo. Where else did we go?
Just
San Francisco.
yeah,
Just kind of like,
yeah.
just
A
like
lot of really ugly locations. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. This year we're doing a lot more. So we're going to South Carolina 2 times, Charleston actually. Like, it's crazy how that just ended up happening.
Yeah.
Going to Lake Tahoe, went to Arizona, going back to Arizona.
Just all over the place, really.
Yeah, it's just like really random. Our clients find us through Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so weird.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you really quick because when it comes to Instagram, like literally if it has something to do with a wedding photo or a wedding video, you guys like their post. Like, I don't know, like I don't know if you're just on there all the time, like liking everyone. But Jen, you know, my wife, she like, look at this. Look, Nick, look, Jay and Mack like this. Look at this with Jay and Mack. Like, it's like you like everything, and I'm sure that's to, you know, grow your brand and grow your stuff and, you know, that kind of
Mac
stuff.
does a lot of IG scrolling from what I can tell.
That is her job. That's her job.
My main job, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm actually like, all I do on Instagram is post and then like, and maybe I'll comment back. But aside from that, I'm hardly ever on Instagram. I don't know. I'm just like, I did it for a long time. And then once she started like doing more of that, I kind of just like stopped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's like, that's a part of her job. So she's like constantly engaging with people.
Yeah.
And that just like gets us out there in the community and people know us.
Yeah.
Like a lot of photographers actually, like I'd say our biggest fans are usually photographers. Like we just have a lot of photographers who love our work. So I think that's super cool. But yeah, it's funny that you say that because literally everybody says that. They're like, how do you guys like everything?
Oh my crap, they found out.
I know. But then it's like sometimes we go through like when we're out like traveling or if we're just like on vacation for ourselves, like we'll kind of just stop and but it's like your engagement goes down when you stop. So it's kind of like this game. It sucks, but
So, you guys are killing it on Instagram, and we will link you in the videos and all that good stuff and let you shout that out for sure. I want to know before we move into like, I want to talk a lot today about just like the way you shoot and edit, as well as a couple other things. But before that, just so the listeners kind of get a gauge, we always try to ask each company kind of how many weddings is an ideal situation for them for the year, and then kind of just a ballpark of like what you're charging and what all that includes.
For sure. So last year, 2018, we did 20 or 21 weddings, and I was full-time for half the year, and that was just like way too much.
Full-time at your other job.
Full-time at your other job.
So I'm a nurse. So that's 3 12-hour shifts a week, and I do the night shift. So pretty much like I do 3 in a row. So my day off, I'm spent like sleeping. I wake up, I eat, and I go back to sleep. So it's kind of like 4 days. But then I switched to part-time, which is like just 1 day off in the pay period. So 5 days instead of 6 days. I'm in the process right now of trying to go more part-time. But yeah, so we did 20 or 21 last year. We have, is it 19 or 20 for this year?
We thought that was too much.
Yeah, we thought that was too much. And then
so
like,
now we have 20 again.
our goal was 15 this year. And then like, we just got these super cool inquiries. So it's, you know, how can you say no? So we've got 20 on the books and we're done for this year. I'm not going to be accepting anymore.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, unless I go more part-time, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're at 20, 21, most of them being in the fall and winter. But yeah, I think our ideal is somewhere between 15 to 20. And right now our prices start at $4,800, but I'd say our average booking is between $6,500 to $7,500.
Yeah, that's great.
We just booked our highest package at $9,000, so.
Boom.
Almost at your level, John, but not quite.
That's above my level.
Yeah,
That's
not even. But yeah, it's just crazy, you know, like she's always hesitant to increase our prices, but I'm like, you know, I just like, we're still getting inquiries, we're still booking, so it's like.
I have this conversation with Nick a lot, and a lot of people that message me too, just about like if you're all the way booked and it's, you know, April, like all of the people that, you know, you just have to heavily question whether or not to raise the prices, because like I had to get out of my own way when it came to raising prices of like, well, I think I'm worth this much, but if like, if a hotel is booked solid every Saturday all year long, they need to raise their prices to get, hotel bookings,
Yeah,
or if there's a concert in town,
definitely.
or and so raise your prices.
Yep, definitely.
So let me just recap this, and you tell me if this is correct. You shot your first wedding in the fall of 2016.
Yes.
Okay. But then you didn't really shoot another wedding until July of 17.
Exactly. And we shot 6 that year.
Okay. So really you got your start in
July,
the summer of 2017.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And so now we're not even 2 years later,
Just
right?
and you just slaying it.
And you just booked a $9,000 package. Like,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
It's
okay.
it's every videographer's story, pretty much the same thing, just like that. Second year,
yeah,
in,
that happened to
$9,000.
me. That happened to me. I actually, my second wedding ever was $12,000.
Yeah, you guys suck. Yeah, this is
No.
this is a waste of everyone listening's
that's-
time.
So I think that's amazing, and it should be inspiring to people. And I think one of those things that so many questions revolve that I'm sure you get all the time is your editing style and how you edit and all that stuff. And I'm sure you're tired maybe of answering those kind of questions. But in a world that is so saturated, in our wedding video arena, and so many people's work looks very similar, if not exactly the same. Like, you guys are totally standing out. And would you say that is maybe one of the biggest reasons how you've been able to, grow so fast and become so popular and charge so much, is because you're kind of doing something outside of the ordinary?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that's the majority of why we grew so fast. I also too, I think because I had a full-time job that pays, pretty well. Nursing pays pretty well. Like, we could take that risk in increasing our prices, doing experimental stuff. Because if we needed more money, I'll just pick up a shift at work. Like, money was never the driving force. Like,
That's
obviously
great.
we want to be compensated well, but for us, it's just about making like really cool films. That's why I got into it in the first place. I saw that one girl's video and was like, this is a movie. I need to make this. So that's I think that's like both of those two combined, the editing and me having a job, is like the driving force behind our growth.
I was going to ask, just like, for those who haven't, that don't know, you're just kind of coming across you based on this podcast, kind of explain your, like, if somebody was asking you what your style is, what is your style?
Can you explain what your
try to
style
explain
is?
That,
Is that possible?
maybe Matt could explain it, because she's a woman, and she's way more better at that kind of stuff.
So my interpretation of it, I really don't even know how to describe our
We
style.
don't really
Like,
have a style. It really just
kind of like Henry from the Brothers Martins was saying, he like tailors it towards his couples, and same thing for us. Like, I mean, if you guys have seen like our Wyoming film, that one's kind of like all over the place, and that's because that couple was just like, they're like, we don't want anything romantic, we just want it to be like a fun party, like crazy. Right. So there's that film, and then we have
Which I will say right now, if you have not watched their Jackson Hole, Wyoming video, like, pause this podcast.
Ashley and Mitch, right?
Seriously.
That's
Yeah.
Seriously, go to their website and watch it, because it is unlike anything you have probably ever seen in the wedding video realm. Like, I'm being
I
serious
remember
about
Nick
that.
sending Nick sent this to me, like, I don't know how long ago, and he was like, dude, have you seen this Jay? Who's
and
Jay
I was
and
like,
Mack? And I was like, wow.
it was like when we had just. It was when we had just started our podcast, and I sent him this video. I was like, check this out. And he's like, dude, they're awesome. I'm like, hey, I know them. Like, I can get them onto our podcast. And I was like,
man.
really? How? So,
That's awesome.
anyway.
I will say, on their website, it says non-traditional films, all about creating a vibe. And I think that I mean, you guys did well in like 10 words or less.
That's
kind
a
of
great.
explaining.
That's a great brand. That's a great brand statement.
It's like, boom. And I mean, if people haven't watched your style, I mean, obviously it goes from funky to creative. I mean, it's all over the place, but in the same, it all feels like you guys.
Yeah.
So it's so important too, in 2019, when everybody has a camera and everyone's a wedding filmmaker now, to like, you have this purity about what you can do, because like you said, you weren't necessarily driven by, I've got to pay the bills with this.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
said, I just wanted to make cool films.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like, that took me 10 years of running my business to get to a point where I was making enough to where I was like, I don't care if anybody likes this but me. I just want to make cool films.
Yeah.
And so like
sure.
I had to rebrand, in like 2017, kind of just be like, I'm going to make these for me. And
Absolutely.
if I show these and the couples that love them, it's like they're going to reach out to me and I get to make more of stuff that I love. So
Yeah.
I can see that happening with you. I mean, 2 years in, most people at this point, I think the first time I charged $9,000 for a film was like my 9th year shooting. So I would say you're
That's amazing,
right ahead
though,
of the
so.
curve. But like how important it is to like make something and push yourself creatively. Why don't you talk about that? Like what has changed from the first wedding till now when it comes
Definitely.
to creativity
Definitely.
and what you guys are doing as a crew?
Yeah, so our first wedding, I was really into like the orange and teal style back then, and I was like also like very much like mimicking certain people's style. Like I was copying Sam Colder, Jay Alvarez, like for their adventure videos, and then So yeah, shooting that wedding, we were doing like mostly music video style back then, so no audio. I had no idea how to like even capture audio. So yeah, just mostly shooting music video style videos, and then started incorporating audio. And once we did that, we found Matt Johnson, Craig Adams, White and Reverie, and definitely was like trying to edit like White and Reverie style in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then there was a period where I was like, gosh, I really need to find my own style. So I kind of just stopped. I stopped following Jay Alvarez, Sam Colder, like all those adventure people. Stopped watching wedding films really, and it was just like, how can I make something that's like kind of ours and really unique? And gosh, I really don't know how it's like it kind of just happens over time.
Yeah.
There's not like one point where you're like, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do this. It's kind of like over time you start incorporating elements that are consistent throughout your films, but still tailoring it towards the couples and figuring out which things you've learned will reflect that couple. And
I think a lot of people start out like, and I think it's refreshing to hear because it's like, you've got to start somewhere, and it's okay for a while to like be like, ooh, I want to shoot like, Jay and Mack Films. Like if that's who, like I want to do something like that. But like what you said about like pushing pause on following these people and then like saying, I know how to do this now. Let me get out of my comfort zone and go crazy. I mean, the one, especially in Wyoming, it's like, there's like numbers and letters flashing across the screen and like, what is that? And it's like, you're just, it's like, I'm so entertained by this. It's so, like, and I'm sure a lot of people watching are like, I try to make my films look like that. And I think that's okay for a little while, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say so we actually, I don't know if you guys remember, I posted on Instagram, somebody actually stole that film. Like they downloaded it, posted it on their Vimeo, their Twitter, and their Instagram, and blocked me so I couldn't find it. And this is somebody like I used to engage with.
And they changed the logo.
And they changed the logo at the end, and we're marketing it as their own video.
That's the best form of flattery right there.
Like, but it's just like, it's crazy, Like there's people that are like, I don't know. But.
So let me ask you this, and Mac, you've been kind of quiet, so I'll start with you. Okay, if you're okay with that. So obviously your editing style and that kind of stuff is something a lot of people are super interested in. But as now a husband and wife team, before we talk more about editing, why don't you kind of jump in and kind of maybe share your roles? While the day-to-day stuff, but also on a wedding day. So Mac, why don't you start with that, and Jay, if you need to jump in, you can.
Well, on a wedding day, I'm usually like the second shooter. He'll usually take like the main role, doing all the audio and all that stuff. I'll still go off to like usually the bride nowadays.
So she's shooting tight mostly.
Yeah.
Unless I send her off alone, then she's gonna try and capture both wide and tight.
But I'm usually getting all those pretty close-up shots. The pretty shots. But that's usually like how a wedding day is for us.
And then at home, so she's running Instagram, obviously.
Yeah, I'll be doing Instagram. And then while Jay's at work, I'll be culling through all the footage, like making sure which shots we want to use. And then I'll start working on the toast, the ceremony edit, and the doc edit. So once those are all done, then he can choose what he wants, and that makes it a lot easier for him.
I'm guilty of like before she started culling, I would just like kind of remember the shots that I took.
And he did not even look at any of my shots.
And I would just look for her shots when I needed, like when I didn't have what I wanted on my end.
And I didn't know you were doing. I didn't know he was doing this for like a good year. Yeah.
So you felt like, man, does my stuff suck? Like, why isn't he using any of my footage? But it was just because he was lazy.
Yes.
Guilty. It's exactly why. Yeah. I was like, I knew what I shot, and it's like if I didn't have what I wanted, then I'd look at her shots and be like, she got some good shots.
So now that Matt goes through and culls everything and organizes it, now it's a lot easier for you to pull from both of your work rather than just what you shot, because she's already gone through and done that process.
Yeah, definitely. The original reason why I didn't want her to cull at first was because like, you know, like when you're shooting and like you just put your camera down or whatever, like you might still be recording. Like I don't know. For some reason I was like, maybe I want that little clip as like a transition or something. So, and I know she's not gonna include that part, but then I'm like, I don't know. After a while, like those like whip pans are like get old. So I was like, oh, I'll just let her cull it. You know, like the story's more important than the little whip pan or whatever.
And then Jay, do you do all the editing and like all of that stuff?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
All the color, all of that end of things.
Yeah. So for I'd say for about half the films, I'll let Mac actually develop the story. This is a new thing too. She just started editing for me. I'll let her like choose the audio and place it throughout the songs. And I might adjust it a little bit, but she'll lay like all the shots, and then I'll go back and watch it and just like make it a little bit more precise and cut where I want. Maybe change a clip from like that she had as slow-mo, make it normal speed instead. Just make it like more precise. But so she's editing about half.
That's awesome.
But yeah, generally I'm doing all like the creative stuff,
like 1 minute teasers.
I do all the teasers. I do like all the editing that people ask us about. I'm the one that's doing it. So.
Okay, cool.
I want to. You guys kind of gave like a quick like wedding day, what that looks like. I didn't catch all of it. So during the day, who does what? Like, so the tight shots, the pretty stuff. You were saying that Mac is the one getting those kinds of things, and so like when you arrive at a wedding day, I guess so. What does that look like? Where do you guys like? Who's on what? What do you guys? What's your process? What are you thinking about? Because I mean, your edits are incredible, but you have to have amazing footage to do that. So like, I mean, just looking through your website, it's like, holy, like this stuff is just so pretty and crisp. And so it's like, who does what, kind of unpack a wedding day for us. I think the listeners would love to know kind of what stuff you're using, kind of gear you're using, and then just like who is literally going where when you start a day.
Absolutely.
Kind of See, I'm bad at explaining stuff.
And let Mac tell us all of it.
Okay, go ahead, Mac. Okay.
I tried.
Yeah. So let's say we're there for 8 hours, which we just started like doing hourly just because there's been so many times where we were doing full day coverage and we've been taken advantage of. Yep. So it's more just to protect us. But let's say starting at 1, I'll still get there at 12 just because I don't like to like jump right into it. I like to kind of just assess the situation, enter into it really relaxed. So I'll get there about an hour early, just say hey to everybody, kind of figure out if mom and dad are there, who's mom and dad. And then I'll just kind of look around at where we're at, then start shooting some establishing shots. At this point, Mac's kind of just walking around with me. She might have her camera, she might not. We're both shooting on the 1DX Mark II, Canon 1DX Mark II. I'm usually on a Sigma 24mm f1.4 95% of the day. Mac's on a Canon 24-105 f4 95% of the day except for reception. So I'm pretty much just walking around with the 1DX, shooting some establishing shots, pop the drone up, shooting with a Mavic 2 Pro, get some establishing shots if possible. And then hopefully around that time, the bride is finishing up makeup. So then I'm gonna be shooting, and if we're lucky enough to be able to be together, we'll be shooting together, and I'll be getting like some wide shots, she'll be getting some tights, but I'm still gonna jump in and get tights because I like the look of a tight shot on the 24. It crops to 33 millimeter full frame on the 1DX because it crops in 4K. So it's like a 35 basically.
Yeah.
So I'll be getting both wide and tight. She'll be getting tight, and she's kind of there just like waiting for moments to happen too. She's like the moment queen. I'm more of like the pretty get the pretty shots or the necessary shots, you know. But she's like she can kind of just sit and watch for those moments.
Yeah, that's a great combo for sure.
Yeah. And then if we didn't already shoot the groom, then we'll both go to the groom and kind of same thing, same setup. And then, for the rest of the day, she's pretty much on the 24 to 105, just really tight. She's capturing, during ceremony, she's on what side are you on? The left side? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's on the left side capturing the groom, so getting his reaction, but then also like whipping towards the bride to get a tight shot of her walking down the aisle. I'm kind of running around with a gimbal. I switched to the 24 to 70 at that point, just getting shots that you guys are probably the same shots you guys are getting, you know, those creative ones, and kind of just staying in the middle for the rest. Is the timer go off? Time out, guys.
Time out.
For those listening and watching on YouTube,
we might keep going.
We'll keep this, and there'll just be a black screen for a second. But you should be watching on YouTube for sure. But if you're watching on YouTube.
All right, guys, we're good. All right, sorry. Of course, it had to happen like mid run of the wedding day breakdown. So getting the same creative shots that you guys are probably getting, and then going towards the middle and kind of just hanging out there. And then after that, so I have Mac hang around after the ceremony to capture the family shots. We don't necessarily incorporate those shots into the films just because they're kind of like, you know, you don't want to just have like...
Only the ones that have good moments.
Unless like, you know, they all cheers like and everybody's in there, then it's like you can get everybody in the film without having to like dedicate one whole shot to, you know, somebody who may not be as important as mom and dad or grandma, grandpa.
Right.
But it's also good so we know who the important people are, just like when we're culling, like, oh, that person's important. And then I'm usually shooting cocktail hour at that point. Then once the bride and groom are ready for portraits, we'll go back, shoot alongside the photographer. She's pretty much hanging in the back, and I'm getting in all of her shots. I'm sure you guys can relate.
How you two handle it sounds almost identical to how Jen and I shoot on a wedding day, where I'm kind of wide, she's kind of tight, and you know, I'm up walking around getting in people's faces and stuff, and I can just hear her as she's getting her shot, like in her camera as I'm, you know, culling through it. I walk in and she just goes, you know, like what is this guy doing? So
100%.
Yeah, but I think it's nice, you know, working with a spouse or working someone with, you know, consistency so that you guys know your roles and you know what you're supposed to do. So I want to shift kind of back to, you know, the editing and that kind of stuff. So I seriously wonder, I love how you edit, and I'm sure that like on our end of stuff, you get a ton of people that are like, that is so creative, that's so innovative, I love what you do. But do you get like much pushback from, you know, your couples or your brides just because you are being so funky and you are being so different, and it's not this, you know, sentimental, make you cry type of thing? So I just, you know, how do you maybe respond to that, or what's your way around that, or just talk about that.
Yeah. So when we deliver it, we've never had anybody request us to re-edit a film, thankfully, so far. The only time we've had somebody request, like, don't do something was the Oregon film. She just said, like, no backward shots, just because she felt it didn't fit their vibe, like reverse shots, sorry. Backwards.
What's a backward shot?
Backward shot. Reverse shots. Yeah, and I actually still ended up like reversing them kissing in like a waterfall shot, and she loved it. Like it was very minimal on the effects, but like when it picked up, I went a little bit more into the effects side, and she like absolutely loved it. So we don't really get any pushback from our couples. Often like they'll say, like, do whatever you want with it. We trust you completely. Like, make it as, you know, fun or crazy as you think, or like as romantic and, you know, kind of whatever. Because some of our films are a little bit more like slower, romantic, moody. But again, it just depends on the couple, and we usually like to
Right.
take it, more fun in the second half.
And I like what you're saying there. And Jen and I have really tried to do that too, trying to find out what the couple wants and listening to them and making it about them. But also, I know you've been around for just a couple years, but you would think that, you show the kind of stuff that you want to shoot on your website. And so you would think that people that are coming to you and inquiring with you like know what it is that they're going to get. They're not going to get a traditional video. Whenever we were at Venture together, that's where we met, was at the first Venture, a year and a half ago. And one of the things that Jay said whenever he was talking about his packages and stuff is, Jay Worsley, his wedding work is, similar with the glitches and the time speed ramping, that kind of stuff. But he's like, I deliver these doc edits, so they get the ceremony and they get the getting ready, and it's very chronological. It's very, like a nice looking home video. So Mac, I know you said doc edits. Like, are you delivering like that kind of stuff too, so that they have, because I'm sure that mom might not love and appreciate what you're creating now, even though the couple does. But if you make a doc edit that's kind of, the getting ready stuff, you can hear voices, and it's really, mom really likes that stuff. So is that the kind of thing that you guys are doing?
We do have
what?
it as an add-on. So we
Okay,
explain
as
it
an
exactly
add-on,
like that. Like a keepsake, something that you won't watch always. But because some couples, like, we don't include in our packages because when we were first starting out, we would like, our first package would be bare, and then second package would have some stuff, third package would have everything, and people were like, oh, I want the third package, but I don't want this. Can I get it for this price? And the reason they were doing that is because it would be like a longer film. So they're wanting the longer film without all the doc edit, the teaser, whatever we included. So we just have, we're like a la carte. We pretty much have everything as an add-on if you want it. So yeah, and she's the one that's editing all those doc edits, super chronological, like just raw moments.
And that's the kind of stuff I like to edit. I don't really like doing like the fast teasers, so it really works out.
Yeah.
I don't always do fast
I mean,
teasers.
like
the one
the-
that we just posted was
you know.
like soft and romantic.
I like the straightforward cuts and
Yeah, she's like, she likes tasks.
Yeah,
like she's
very
very
tasky.
tasky.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Now, on the editing, and I know we want to talk, about how you have, a full-time job, and we're going to get to that in a second. But do you find it difficult to edit in the style that you do, like to kind of keep yourself fresh? Okay. Like I did a film this last fall that was heavily inspired by your work.
the one you shot,
The Joshua
the
tree.
one you went to Joshua Tree?
Yeah. And like, I love how that film turned out, but it
Yeah.
kind of wrecked me. Like,
Really?
in the sense I spent way more time doing it, because editing,
Yes.
whenever you have fast cuts and speed
Yes.
ramps, like it takes longer.
Yeah, you got to find
And-
shots that match well.
And then, like, I would go to the next film that I was doing that wasn't the couple and that wasn't their style. But then, like, I'm so geeked out and excited about how this, like, previous one turned out, and like I'm wanting to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it kind of
totally.
like messed with my head and moving forward. So like, how do
Totally.
you deal with that? Does that do you find yourself like comparing yourself to yourself and like you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And like how do you just go about and deal with that stuff?
Absolutely. Every time, like, I'm approaching an edit, I'm like, gosh, how am I gonna, how am I gonna make this better than the last film? Because that's always my goal. But like, it's exactly how you feel. It's like how can I make this new? How can I make this different? Or like, maybe we didn't shoot a certain way because that didn't reflect the couple. Like, because we actually shot a different style too for the Jackson one. But yeah, it's like something I still struggle with, actually. It's like, how am I gonna make this unique to the couple, but like something that fulfills me creatively too?
Right.
And I think for me, the biggest thing is like music selection and the pacing of the music. So finding a song that I connect to and I know the couple will connect with. So
Yeah.
music choice is huge. Like, in the Jackson one, the songs we chose were like kind of just like crazy, all over the place, and we were able to create a film based off those two songs that worked. But it's like like you said, you can't do that for every couple, and we still I haven't edited one similar to that since since that wedding, because we just haven't had a couple who wants that style.
Right.
We have a lot of people saying we love that video for that couple. Like, that's not what we want, but that's what made us find you, and we want you because of that. But that's not us. So
I have a couple of questions. So, like, I've been looking through your films as we're preparing for this, and it's like the things that stand out to me, besides just the incredible craziness of your edits that are awesome. The footage itself is just like so super crisp and so like, and then the color itself. I know you talked about using the 1DX2, those kinds of things. I'm assuming you're shooting everything in 4K.
yeah, exactly.
Are you using your own, like, who does the coloring? What are you using to do the color and the mood?
For sure.
What are you doing there?
So I'm coloring. I do all the coloring. I'm teaching her right now. And we actually use our own LUTs. We're calling them the Electra LUTs. I've sent them to a couple people to test, and they love them so far. They're ready to go. I just.
John's saying, and send them me.
I will give you dozens of dollars for those right now. Dozens.
So they're actually ready to go. I just need to like I said, I have a part-time job right now, so it's like finding the time, and we have films to edit. We're like doing an art show this weekend, so it's just like I haven't found the time to figure out the logistics of selling a digital product and like making it look nice on our website. Like, they're ready to go. I just need to get on it, because we've had like tons of people asking us when they're going to be coming out.
So you create your own look and your own LUTs. I mean, why don't you explain to the listener a little bit of like what you're trying to do with your color and how you're shooting it how are you shooting it? You shooting pretty flat, like, what are you guys doing on the shooting and the coloring? Like, how does that work for you? Like, what's your process look like?
For sure. So we're shooting in the Faithful profile on Canon. Because there's like some C-Log that I forget who made them, but I didn't really like. It's like in the 8-bit format, it just doesn't work. So we're shooting in Faithful. I'm turning the contrast down, saturation down just a bit. But the reason why I like the Faithful is because it makes the skin tones pop a little bit more compared to just the neutral. So we're shooting in that, and then our favorite location to shoot is like the Pacific Northwest. So whenever we have those ones, we're always trying to create a mood. Like, people getting married there love it because of the mood. It's usually like gloomy, and that might sound crappy to some people, but the people who love it, like me, we're just so like enamored by the mood. So I'm making it like I'm desaturating the greens a lot, kind of shifting them more a little bit towards yellow, but not to the point where everything's brown. I still like to keep it semi-natural. But yeah, just
semi-natural.
Semi-natural, yeah.
Prioritizing skin tones is number one always. Like,
yep.
So just making sure those skin tones are accurate.
That's a quick nugget for color correcting. Is base all of your color correction on skin tones.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The trees might look beautiful, but if the person's skin looks like orange, like, go back and fix it. So skin tones.
Exactly.
Anyways,
skin tones
continues.
Yeah. Skin tones are priority. Aside from that, actually a lot of our blues are pretty desaturated too. Like, occasionally, if I like the look better, I'll like blow out the sky and then pull the curve down a little bit, so it's not like a strong white, but it's like a flat white with a nice roll off. So that's kind of like our look.
So you're shooting in camera on the Faithful, bringing down the contrast,
bringing down the saturation,
and then focusing on skin tones. Your LUTs will be available by the time we drop this episode.
Hopefully exactly. Exactly.
Please let us know when they do. We'll post it in our group or whatever. But the color is amazing.
So you kind of touched on it earlier, and I think there's a lot of people that wedding videography, wedding filmmaking stuff is a big, huge side hustle, right? Like, they have their 9 to 5, they're grinding and all that stuff. And I was actually a youth minister for 12 years. Yep. And so for like 5 years or 6 years of, my business, like, I had a full time. So I totally understand what you are saying is I can do this, and it's just like money on top, like I was living off my other job's salary. And so I wasn't scared to raise my prices because like I knew I had money coming in.
For sure.
So maybe talk about, you've already kind of touched on that part, about the raising your prices, but, how have you been able to balance, being a nurse and working all of those hours as well as,
for sure.
finding time to edit and Mac, when did maybe you decide to stop doing your 9 to 5 and do this stuff full time, and how that affected that whole dynamic?
I'll let Matt go first.
Well, I stopped the 9 to 5 because AmeriCorps, it was only a year long.
Okay.
So I stopped right at the time where he was like getting like pretty involved in like filming and doing adventure videos, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to do 9 to 5s anymore. This is a great opportunity. So that's how I jumped into the video.
So balancing a full-time job as a nurse and editing and shooting. So it was actually pretty difficult because, so I don't always have weekends off. I have to do 4 weekend shifts in a month. So, and that means Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But if I work Friday night, I can't shoot Saturday because I'm going to be, sleeping. Or same thing if I shoot Saturday, or if I work Saturday, I can't shoot Sunday. So we had to kind of plan which weddings we would take around that. But aside from that, like, I am fortunate that it is 12-hour shifts and I only work 3 times a week. So I had that extra time to go out, shoot for myself, learn faster, had time to edit, not just late at night. Like, I know some people working 9 to 5, like, they come home and they edit, or they wait till their kids sleep and then they edit and they get barely any sleep. Like, I'm lucky that I don't have kids and I'm a nurse, so I was able to balance it a lot better. So I guess my situation's kind of unique in that sense. And then, with nursing, having nursing, we were pretty much able to use like all our video income just for, gear and, new toys and everything. So being able to, like, I guess, not that gear is everything, but like a lot of the look I attribute to the 1DX and Canon. Like, the colors are amazing and the sharpness on the Canon is great, but not to the point where it's like too sharp and like people's pores are intense. It's got like this nice soft look. So, but yeah, and also my supervisors at work are really cool and like totally understanding of me having this as a like pretty much a full-time business. So they're very understanding with like if I need some time off. So, and I can take time off without using paid time off. So just manipulating my schedule.
So if somebody, a lot of our listeners, like Nick's saying, I mean, are doing this part-time. I know you haven't moved full-time, or you're full-time, but I mean, you haven't moved to not doing any of the nursing. Are there plans for that in the future? When do you feel like that would be, the boat being close enough to the dock? Like, when do you feel like that would happen for you? What advice would you have for somebody that is doing something like this?
So for me, my end goal is actually the next part-time, which I'm in the process of going to. So I don't ever want to give up nursing completely because I like the stability and security, and I like that we're able to take on couples that we want to work with and not just say yes to every gig. Yeah. The benefits, having another vessel for retirement and health, dental, and all that. Oh, yeah. I don't think I could ever give it up completely. It's just too good to walk away. I went to school for 5 years to become a nurse. I'm not just gonna put that aside. And right. I think I'm able to find balance between both. I don't get burnt out of either because when I need to get away from editing, I'm just at work and I'm just kind of chilling out. I've been a nurse for a couple of years, so I know my routine. It's not as stressful as it used to be. And then if I was only doing video, I think I'd probably get, sick and tired of just doing video because then then we're doing it for a paycheck and it's just, for me, then I don't know. I won't be able to take the risks that I take.
Yeah. I think it's huge to, even if you're, you are doing this full time or whatever, like, I think the people that are listening that like, it's encouraging to me this is what I do. Like, I don't have any other thing else that I'm doing. It's encouraging. Thank you. But it's encouraging to me to like remind myself that like, I need to come at it with the mindset that this is not the thing that like, I'm not just doing this for a paycheck. Like, I want to have fun with it. And like, it seems like, you guys are oozing this like creativity and fun that you get, like, it's just fun and you want to make a better film. And it's not you don't have this pressure of like, okay, I have to do this exactly right because all of my livelihood is wrapped around it. And when I switched to that kind of a mindset, and it's really been in the last year for me, to being like, you know what, I'm going to shoot how I want, but since then, zoom, when it comes to like the prices and the people that want to book me, and I'm still just like, even with, working with Nick and a couple of the other guys that were like talking back and forth, it's like, I'm pushing my creativity, and there's just something so fulfilling about doing that. And I think it's really refreshing to the listeners that even if they're full-time or part-time or whatever, to like go into your wedding season, or going into your weddings thinking like, how can I make this the best video that I know how to make? How can I continually push to get better, as opposed to like, oh, I got to take this wedding to pay the bills today,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's huge. And I'm not like dissing anybody doing it full time either. Like,
I wasn't
like,
offended.
I have a lot of respect like for you guys. Like, I'm just in a unique situation that I'm lucky that we're able to do both.
I mean, just the fact that you have a job and that it gives you benefits, like that's a huge thing. Like, I don't know, if I wasn't from my church job, we had to pay for our own health insurance out of pocket anyway. So like, I know that that's a big hurdle that a lot of people are like, oh, I want to go full time, but insurance. And like, I was like, well, I'm used to paying for it anyway, so it's not like, and but I mean, just keeping that and thinking about that, it's all sorts of stuff. And you found what works for you, but still, I mean, you were full time, then you went part time, and now it almost sounds like you're going like a third time or a quarter time, something like that.
It's like half the commitment.
right. So you just, because you keep on, this keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you are making more and more money, so you're able to do that kind of stuff. So we have just John, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I'm great. But okay, I just put my hands up like this just to stretch them out. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And it is my symbol for like money or something. Okay.
So in our Facebook group, hey, John, did you know we have a Facebook group?
What?
Yeah.
Are there dozens of people in there?
There are 1,000 people in that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
guys.
How do you find the Facebook group? Where is it?
Oh, all you need to do, just go to Facebook and search "How to Film Weddings" and join.
Okay.
Join that group. But we asked in our group if anyone had any questions for you, and there's been a ton. I know you actually, Jay, I saw that you commented, on a couple of them already. But
come on, man.
I didn't give any answers. Answers. I just
right. But we've really touched base on a lot of the people. A lot of the questions. Drew Meineke was asking about when your LUTs are coming out, and
not when your LUTs are available. When your delicious LUTs are going to be available.
Oh, he did call them delicious. He did. Drew is at that first venture with us, so we know him a little bit. People asking about editing style and editing stuff and that kind of thing. But Andy Moody asked a really good question. This was the one that you actually commented on. So you've had a little time to think about it, but here it is. He said, what is it musically that you are looking for in selecting music for your films? Is the feel, the emotion, style, or genre? There's a lot more songs than just music, so what is it that draws you to those specific?
Great question, Andy Moody.
Yeah.
Good job,
that
Andy.
That is a great question.
And I can see the sweat.
I'm giving him time. Nick, while he's thinking about it, I don't know if you know, we also have a YouTube channel. We do. YouTube.com/howtofilmweddings, which we don't just post the podcast. We post tutorials. We post all kinds of things. So if you're listening on any platform, you should check that out as well. All right. They've had time for our plugs. Okay. Now, and back to Andy Moody's question. What are you guys thinking there?
Yeah, so for music, gosh, I mean, first of all, I have to love the song. Like, that's the first thing. I have to love the song, because if it's a song that sounds cool but I don't love it, then I'm gonna hate editing the film. Mm-hmm. So I have to love it. Next thing I'm looking for is like sound design. So there's more to a song than just like the melody. There's like subtle hits and all these sounds that you can play off of for the edit. Like, some sounds may ring longer, and that's maybe when I'll do like more of like a sweeping shot, or maybe it's like a really staccato hit, and like that's when you do different kind of shots. So what I'm looking for is like stuff I can be creative with. So if the song is a little bit slower and more cinematic and has less like beats to cut to, then maybe I'm gonna incorporate my own sound design. So if there's a wedding that I'm like, oh, I want to do some more glitchy sort of stuff without relying on the music, I'll be looking for a song that's kind of slower, like more cinematic, sweeping. kind of just like a dark feel almost. But if I like for reception, I'm always thinking fun because receptions are meant to be fun, right? You can get like funny lines from toasts, or maybe even during the ceremony they shared some vows that were funny. So I'm looking for energy. I'm big on like.
Sorry.
No,
I remember an Instagram teaser, and I'm sure maybe it was in the full video, but it was like this, cinematic, nice like piano orchestral music.
Claire de Lune and
and then you like cut like after a beat, and then it was like just the background noise of cheer and pop, and then you went back to it, and then you transitioned into this like funky upbeat song.
Yeah, that was a risk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it turned out great. So just looking for music that you love, but you can also play and have fun with.
Yeah,
really?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
I think a lot of times, which like something that helps us out a lot is like just listening to music on a daily basis. It's always like we're always listening to music bed songs in the car while we're driving somewhere.
Yeah. He's
not just like at the computer going through all the songs and picking it. Like we'll be playing music here, like through the house, and we like that song, we don't like that song.
I'm really bad, and I'm not organized on music bed at all, though. Like anything I like, I just hit that heart button, and that's about it. And I go through there and search for what I like.
I think that's good.
That's really good because on Music Bed, you can create your own playlists. If you didn't know this, you can create your own playlists, and so you can be
a couple.
Yeah, you can be like, this is a funky upbeat, or this is going to be an emotional one, or this is, I really like the chorus of this, and it could be, so you can give yourself notes. But I think that's a great idea because so many of us wait to look for our music to like, okay, we've culled it, we've put our doc stuff together, and now we want some music. And then you spend hours or days, unless you're John, who literally picks the first song that he listens to.
Stop.
Must be nice.
Ouch.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Kick me in the stomach. I have a question, Nick, from the How to Film Weddings Facebook group. Richard Chucks says,
We'll say
"What?"
Chucks.
Okay, Richard Chucks asks, "What do you use to achieve that nice organic handheld look?"
So I'm pretty sure we shoot like exactly the same as Nick. I know you're doing like floating the monopod in the air style, right? Yeah. So what we do is, so David at Venture taught me this, and I think Nick was already doing it at that time. So we pretty much just like hold our camera while it's attached to the monopod. So basically almost using it like a glide cam, but without a glide cam setup.
Yeah.
And then just like keep it tight to us and move with our body.
It's kind of that subtle movement, but it adds that little bit of movement to the shot that just makes you feel more like you're there.
And I like it more than the glide cam because it has less of like a swaying movement and more of a natural, like almost like a shoulder rig type of look, but you can still get like nice walking shots if you're just steady enough within.
Yeah.
And I will say that you're probably, I think you're going to get better results if you're shooting on a heavier camera.
Yeah,
with
for
that.
sure.
So the 1DX, the C100, cameras that have some weight on the top of them, I'm sure it'll work with the GH5 or the Sony A7 III or whatever, but it might be a little bit different just because the camera is so much smaller and so light.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it gives it that nice organic handheld look without all those micro jitters. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
John, I'm really sorry about the music comment. I know that's not true. It just happened one time.
Hey, sometimes, one time I was like, the first song I found was the song.
Yeah. And he did the smart thing and not wasted 3 hours looking for something else just to come back to that one.
I still looked for a while, but I came back to it. I think that happens sometimes. But
one thing about the music too, so I'm not just looking at Music Bed. I listen to a lot of songs on Spotify, and if I come across a song I like, I'll reach out to the artist too, whether it's through Instagram, email, emailing the publisher and see if we're able to license that song. So one of the videos we just posted, like I took another risk and used, I guess you'd classify it as like a rap song, hip hop rap sort of song. I don't know if you guys saw that one. It's Savvy and Jansen. But it was like
Race
that.
Car.
Yeah, the song's called Race Car, and that one like blew up on Instagram. Like everybody loved that one. So, and that one has a lot of sound design. Like you'll understand what I'm talking about as far as sound design if you watch that teaser and listen to that song. The song is called Race Car by Aries. So.
Yeah, and then So have you done that a bunch or just a few times where you've actually like been able to be in contact with the band or whoever to license it? What's the, like, just ballpark, what's kind of the typical cost? Obviously, this isn't, Coldplay or something like that. Do we need to stop the camera?
Yeah, just 1 second. Sorry, guys.
The struggles of the 1DX.
Okay, start it. So sometimes we don't get responded to at all. That can be a normal thing, and you just move on. And then sometimes they'll actually, like, the artist may be really cool. I've noticed with Australian artists, like, we've actually let some artists let us use it for free, and they're like, that's what music's made for, like, go for it. So I'm like, dude, thank you so much. That's so awesome. And then the times we do pay, it'll be anywhere from like $100 to $150, and I pay that. I don't put it on the client because that's my decision to use that song. I have MusicBed that's like incorporated into our costs. I could use that. But I usually do it for teasers, so I like to make the teasers extra special, especially since that's what we're posting on our Instagram. So I'll go out of the way to license a song just to make their film totally unique and different. But it sucks though, because sometimes I'll see people like using the same songs and I know for a fact they didn't reach out to the artist to license the song. And I'm like, but it is what it is. So
you are, even if you are getting music that you can't find off of a licensing site, you are still going through the proper channels.
Yes.
To be legal about it.
Yeah. Because I mean,
be legal, people. Be legal.
They're artists too, and if they deserve to be compensated, like we're using their songs to make money, so they should be compensated. But I mean, if they're gonna let us use it for free, that's amazing too. So
Yep. That's all good stuff. So if you're not a part of the Facebook group and you're listening, join that so you can jump in. A lot of conversations going on there. We're about almost out of time, guys, but I wanted to, if somebody has not followed you yet, where's the best place to find you? I know you've mentioned Instagram. Where can they see your work? Give us the links, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So pretty much everything is at Jay and Mack Films. So on Instagram, Jay and Mack Films, JAY and MACK Films. We're on Vimeo, Jay and Mack Films, same thing. Facebook, Jay and Mack Films. Our website is jayandmackfilms.com. Just pretty much everything Jay and Mack Films.
Wait, I didn't catch that. What is it?
Yeah, which one was Facebook again? Facebook.com/what?
It's slash Jay and Mack Films.
Okay, got it.
We're on Pinterest. We're on Pinterest now too. That's also what Mac's been doing, kind of behind the scenes. So
that's
trying
awesome.
to grow that, and so check us out on there.
That's incredible. Mac, anything else you want to add before I land this plane?
Our YouTube is Jay and Mack, not Jay and Mack Films.
Oh, yeah.
Mixing it up.
Yeah.
We are really bad on YouTube, though. I like barely post on there anymore. But I know you guys are like...
You should check out you should check out our podcast on it. You do pretty well there. I don't know if you know, but your films are pretty good. So people would probably watch them there, too.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well,
yeah,
I know that we could talk for a long, long time.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
totally.
I definitely shortlist to come back on because I know that there's a million questions. I wanted to jump in about how you guys are doing your Instagram because you're killing it. But we'll have you back on for sure to talk through all the things. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I know the listeners appreciate the time. If you are listening on podcasts, do us a favor, share. Nope, that's not podcast. If you're listening on podcast, you want to leave us a good review. If you're watching online, like and share this video. And I guess, Nick, until next time, we'll see ya.
See ya.